mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they're very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
Y'all, welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. That is my bad on that. But now we're talking about the Phillies, which, it's not looking good for us. And the man that I say that to, Austin.
Yeah, the Phillies out of the playoffs. Who would have thought that it would be this quick? They win one game. The Mets ended up beating them. Red October was extremely short. I know a lot of Phillies fans were excited about that, but what's next? I mean, they've regressed every year. They lost in the World Series to the Astros in 2022. In 23, they lost in the NLCS in 7 games, I believe, against the Diamondbacks. And then obviously we have this year where they lose to the Mets.
Yeah, and to me, they're pretty – I know their hitting did not do well, but those are all guys that I think they trust, and you can expect to bounce back next year. When you look at it, I'm like, I don't really see where they replace. And the gaping hole, to me, is at the starting pitching, which, talking about that World Series, that's what got them there. Aaron Nola, when the Yankees had a big lead, I looked at the pitcher. I was like, Aaron Nola was pitching. And after that, the game, their third game, Ranger Suarez, I believe, was pulled pretty quickly. That's the hole in the Phillies team right now.
Yeah, but a lot of people thought that was one of their strong suits going into the postseason. They had a lot of guys that were considered to be very good. Nola, 3.57 ERA, which isn't the greatest, but his WAR was pretty high at 3.6. You have Ranger Suarez, 3.46 ERA, a little bit better than Nola's 3.57. You have guys like Zach Wheeler, obviously, 2.57, great year from Wheeler, but just has a and Wheeler. Well, I'll say this: Suarez and Wheeler, even though Suarez only went 4 1/3 innings, Wheeler went 7 innings scoreless, Kevin, and they lost that game.
Okay, so what is you believe it's hitting?
Or? It's hitting. They hit 186 this series. 186. They had a couple guys come to play. Castellanos and Harper were the only guys that played a considerable amount of time and played well. Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens, I believe, son, had 5 at-bats, had 2 hits and a double, so he was also good. Everyone under that had an OPS below 700. The best was Bryson Stott, just because he had a triple, but he had a 182 average. You look at guys like Muto, 11 at-bats, 0 hits. He had 3 walks, 0 hits. Austin Hayes in 4 at-bats had 3 strikeouts, no hits. Trey Turner, batted 200, 3 of 15. Schwarber, yes, he had that 1 leadoff homer, but he went 2 for 16, 125 batting average. It's their hitting. Brandon Marsh and Alec Bohm both had 1 hit in 13 at-bats. If you're hitting 186, you don't deserve to win. You don't. Their pitching had a ERA of 5.82, yes. But you can't win a game, Kevin, or a series for that matter, batting 186 as a team.
And yeah, they didn't play well. To me, maybe it's a sign they're not. It could be a sign that they need to get new hitters. To me, I trust in all those hitters. I trust in Trey Turner. I think Bohm will turn it around. Same thing with Bryson Stott. Same thing with Brandon Marsh. So I'm not really sure what they can do in that term.
But like I said, you can't win a series batting 186.
Yeah. And you bring up the right point in just talking about that. And that's sort of the conundrum they have, because they went out and spent big money after they lost that World Series. They went and got Trey Turner. They, I remember, gave a big deal to Taijuan Walker. And now it's really, what else can they do?
Yeah. I mean, I think you bring up the point. I don't know what else they can add. I mean, yes, you can get starting pitching better, but you were never going to win a series batting 186. Your guys just have to show up. This is almost like a Maple Leafs situation. You have to show up. And I know the Phillies have made it far in the playoffs before, but again, you can't bat 186. I mean, the Mets significantly better, 269. Like, it's just no timely hits, no big at bats, couldn't get anything going, and it's extremely disappointing because I had a lot of expectations for the Phillies. It just never come to pass. I mean, the Phillies scored more than 2 runs one time this series and won the game. In games they scored more than 2 runs, 1-0. In games they scored 2 runs or less, 0-3.
Yeah, what we're talking about is it's a decision that they're having to face. It looks like they may be going new manager route. But it's almost like maybe this is what this team is, and if they want to get back there, they may have to start tearing it down.
Yeah, I almost feel like if they go to the new manager route, that's kind of a scapegoat situation because, like I said,
it's the players.
You can't bat 186. You can't do it. Can't do it. And I'd like to mention really quickly that isn't both of your World Series people out?
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah.
Phillies and Orioles.
Who do you have?
I had Tigers and Braves. So my Braves are gone, but I still have the Tigers alive.
Tigers might be there. Yeah, we'll definitely review that because I have thoughts on the Tigers. Just because they did what we said they couldn't. But back to the Phillies. It is going the manager route signals to me there's not really much we can do to overhaul this roster that didn't perform well. We think we can go a manager that would help them perform better.
I don't know necessarily if that's going to work. Kevin, do you think that they can overcome this and eventually win it, or is their window closed?
I think I'm going to go window closed because you mentioned the hitting not doing it. I think the hitting if the hitting gets back, we'll go that way. I don't see the rotation doing well. You mentioned they had a 5 ERA in the playoffs in the future because Wheeler and Nola's getting old. Wheeler still played well, but he's getting old as well. And then there is that. I don't see guys taking their
I still think he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, he had a 2.57 ERA in 7 scoreless innings. How do you your starter goes 7 scoreless and you lose the game? I don't know.
Yeah. So Wheeler's still great, but I'm curious about next year for Nola and then just guys behind him because when Wheeler and Nola were on and their hitting was doing great, they made it to a World Series. But the window, to me, depends on that. And to me, I see it closing.
Closing, I think, is the right word. I'm not going to say closed, but I do think it's extremely close to close.
Next year's, you still have maybe Nola, you still have Wheeler, but Nola.
Yeah, I think I think you made a good point there.
Yeah, which explains the manager route. Okay, we're going to put a manager in just one more year, and then if not, then it's probably going to be tear down mode. So it's going to be a big year for them next year.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to say they'll be on our World Series or bust list.
Yeah, we just got to make sure we write that down so we don't forget it, or I forget it.
Oh, I won't forget it.
Okay, cool. All right, you heard it here, folks. That's our look way far into the season next year of World Series or bust. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.